back to what I have been exhaustively calling reality with capital R, that I believe can only be experienced and understood through an interface, which for humans is our biological apparatus. So if we say we look into an area as a human being with our interface, our biological apparatus, so senses plus the sense making parts of us, which is the mind body system. If we direct that towards an area of this cloud of particles, let's say we see that, which is a picture I've been using. I am at the Heidelberg Castle, one of the prettiest places in Germany, and I see that. So that's what the human being is experiencing as reality. So that is reality from inside that little circle, but it comes from the head of the human being. Now, what we experience as our bodies and see and smell and hear as the human body is also at that level, is also experienced through the interface. The human body, with all the characteristics that we're able to name, does not sit in fundamental reality. It's still being experienced through the human interface. It's still a picture, just the way the fact that we think those particles are trees and houses and whatever else is there. It's the same with a human body. So there is an area of fundamental reality that is the human being, but we don't really know what that is. The body with hands and noses and ears and hair is what the interface is showing us for it to be. It's very like us, we won't get to it right now, but it's very interesting for me to think of, okay, what is inside that circle? What is inside that circle that is through the interface producing the human body? There must be something in there at the level of fundamental reality that is the human being. I believe what's very new and exciting and makes this whole thing kind of contemporary for me, the contemporary angle to all of this, because what I've just said until now has been the case for a long time. And if you even go back to some Greek philosophy, you'll still see them describing reality kind of in these terms. What is new and fresh for me is the proliferance of recording technologies in the past 60, 70 years, right? Like after the war. And what do I mean by recording technologies? Well, technologies that are able to digitize anything. They're able to record and transcribe in a format, voices, sounds, sight, all of these things. Because they're technologies made by humans, they tend to record or serve human needs in human ways, right? So we make devices that record sounds and sights because that's the kind of stuff we have in our interface. We can't conceive of other things. So our devices are made by us in our image. So they do things we do. But they have been collecting through this recording and through all of the protocols that are able to take reality as understood by the human interface, parts of it, and convert that into digital formats. They have been building up this layer, pieces of reality in the format of the human interface, but as a digital kind of substance, let's call it, right? So the body of text produced by humans that LLMs are using today are layers in this digital stratum that we've been accumulating through these recording technologies. it's something that absolutely did not exist even 100 years ago. And it's been growing and getting thicker and thicker and thicker very, very, very fast. So what are we doing now? Well, we are starting to grow agents inside these stratums, inside these layers. We're using these principles of neural networks. So we're giving them intelligence, and again, we're making them in our image because that's the only thing we're capable of, just like God. And we're growing stuff in there. Charlie brought up yesterday how magical it is that now we are not together in the same space, but yet we are together through this kind of remote co-presence technology, right? Well, what is mediating, what is making this possible is exactly stuff that lives in that stratum. Last slide. Almost everything that is really hot and trendy right now deals with developing products that either connect humans in deeper and more sophisticated way with this stratum, or about making even more sophisticated recording technologies, right? So you have the people in the startup that want to, well, like you have Tesla cars and that just want to collect all of this three-dimensional data. So we're getting stronger and stronger in taking human interface like versions of the fundamental reality and thickening the layers through more and more recording technologies. In terms of what I'm seeing in entrepreneurship and tech, so some are concerned, like I said, with making recording technologies that thicken this stratum. Some are trying to connect humans with the substratum in new ways, and Zoom is one of those technologies that are using this substratum. And the fact that, again, what is Zoom doing is taking, there's a webcam which is turning something like vision, but again, vision is a human term, but we've made the camera, so we've put this human thing called vision as an ability into this object. It's digitizing me in real time. It's drawing that information into this sea, and then your systems on your side are extracting it and then reconstructing me in your system in a way that feels to you very similar to what your biological apparatus is already doing, so you can recognize another human being on your screen. A third category of tech entrepreneurship is concerned with growing all sorts of creatures in there for all sorts of interesting purposes. All of these endeavors inevitably operate in terms of dynamic systems. The conclusion of this workshop and all of these presentations is this framework on this slide that is telling you, if you're interested in understanding some of the things that are going on right now, or getting your feet wet and trying to develop some of these things yourselves, here's a way you can conceive of what is happening. Here are the principles of dynamic systems that will help you identify the stalks, the flows, and the feedback loops needed for that. Because I strongly believe these three things are still fundamental, whether we're talking about a bathtub or the most sophisticated business built on top of ChatGPT 5002. You still need a supply. There's still deprecation. There's still change over time. and so on, right? You still have agents, you still have to supply whatever, whatever your stock is.